Yo, it's your man Adam Jump Town back with my brother Joe.
What it do?
The human sunflower. This is the Jumpboys Podcast. Want to give a big shout out and thank you to the 603 Beat Collaborative right here in the studios, giving us the time, the space to do what we got to do. Kind of our little therapy session, our little get out, talk about life from our perspective, our experiences.
Yes.
And I think we want to showcase that because we're just like everyone else out there. It's a blue collar type of life we've been raised in, you know, a family working hard, mom and dad always there, dinner tables,
Yep.
you know, fulfilling Christmases, holidays, parties, you know, we had it all. But just like life and just like the way things go, shit happens. Life happens. Unexpected things are going to be put in your way. How are you going to deal with them? Or how are you going to learn from them? And how many times will it take? You know, from our both of our perspectives, you know, you'll get different answers. And I think that's why we make the good 1-2 combo.
1-2.
And I think it took to 2025 for this to happen for many reasons. One, because we weren't ready 10, 20 years ago. Podcasting and the internet wasn't even a thing 20 years ago. You keep that in perspective because we're going to be talking a lot about technology and things on this podcast. We're going to be talking a lot about life things. But right now we want to introduce who we are to the people who don't know. You know, it's your man Adam Jump, Joey Jump, couple kids from Lowell, Mass.
No city.
Born and raised, you know. And we had a great childhood and a great upbringing. But I think our journeys and our stories that we want to share with you are going to hit and resonate on many levels. And from that, hopefully you take something with you to improve yourself or the things around you. Because I think what we're going to teach and talk upon is life experiences that we've been in, that we've learned from, and found growth and prosperity, and found strength and love, and found ourselves through the process. And you might want to mark that one. Because I think that's when you get the perspective and you start finding out yourself, you start to think a little bit more internally, you know?
Yes. Definitely.
And I think with that comes a lot of, you know, back and forth questioning, doubting. You know, self-doubt is something that I really never experienced until I started talking to myself more, which is funny because I've been out there in goofball, middle school, high school, give me the attention kind of guy, still am to this day. But that's kind of what I feed off of too, is that attention and that want to be heard. Because I feel like maybe I got a little bit of a message or I can bring across just a little bit differently for some to understand. I don't know the true purpose. One thing I do know is that I'm not going to stay silent.
Don't do that.
You can't do that.
No.
You know, so this is just a little bit about me. But Joe, I want you to introduce yourself and let people know the human sunflower and the power of the spirit there.
The power of the spirit. I'm Joey, the human sunflower. Born and raised in Lowell. And I just love my life today. I really, truly, I identify as a sunflower because my whole life I spent in the darkness and just, I hated myself. I really did. I didn't like who I was. I experienced something, you know, trauma when I was young, around 6 years old. I was sexually abused, you know, with a neighbor, and that fucked me up mentally, and it stole my soul, stole my childhood, and very young, by the time like 9, 10, I started smoking weed, and it just progressed to all the psychedelics, and then drinking, and then all the hardcore stuff, you know, cocaine, heroin, all that horrible stuff that made my life even worse, you know? But that's what I fell in love with to escape reality, because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I just didn't know. But like you said, I did come to very amazing parents, had amazing parents, household full of love, and I did have a good childhood.
Yeah.
And even though I was broken inside. I didn't know. I don't know how I dealt with it. Like you did say something the last time.
Last time it shows the strength you have now. And the strength that I never saw inside you until I fully knew what happened, which I only found out a few years ago.
Right. And
so,
yeah. And and that's why like I speak on God a lot today, but my God today is the universe.
Yep.
Everybody's God is different.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I should not be here. I should be dead 1,000 times over. So throughout my journey of life and my recovery, I found my purpose, and it is to be the light and help the ones that are still in the darkness. And I'm still in my recovery journey. I'm healing every day because I choose to grow and become the better version of myself.
Right.
My whole life, I felt like a piece of shit, you know? And then like because of the life I was living, I was doing piece of shit things. Like I was doing horrible things that I was not put on this earth to do. You know, I was not raised to do what I was doing.
Definitely not.
I was not. And
but you hold accountability
definitely.
and your strength through that shit. I mean, half the people out there ain't going to say they've been through something like that or could put themselves in those shoes. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the importance of self and a little selfishness in life, you know, because sometimes you do got to just worry about you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just realizing that this year, and I'm 36. So yeah, it's been a long, dark life, but today I choose to never, ever go back that way. Because I know better today. I've learned a lot of things, and I have great support with me, and I've always had you as a really good role model, so, like, I'm grateful for that. But, like, I've been through some dark shit, but I also did some dark shit.
Right.
So, like, I also had to accept and be accountable for the things I did, you know, whatever it was, right? Hurting people, putting fear in people's lives, robbing people, whatever the case may be, whatever I did to get my drugs and alcohol, to get out of myself. I know I have part in it. I accepted it. I did jail time for it.
Yeah, and you're not alone.
I did what I had to do.
I was there making some dumb decisions too. There were times where I was like, yo, I know exactly what I'm doing right now, and I'm just going along with it. Because, you know, for me, a little bit of that hardcore drugs and Percocets, pretty much, cocaine slightly.
A little bit.
When you're hanging around with certain kind of folks.
Right.
But that's the past. But where we are now, I think, you know, we dealt with the passing of Dad's death when we were kind of young, early 20s. You were 21.
I just
turned 21.
Yeah.
I turned 23. He was 46. You know, terminal brain cancer, badass motherfucker, went down to the very last drop and didn't give a fuck what you thought of him or how he was looking through the process. Walking around with that one eye and a hole in his head, and he didn't care. And I think that just is a little bit about who we are, and definitely who I am, because I walk around like that a lot. That self-confidence, but that also don't give a shit factor about what you're thinking about me or the moment that I'm in right now. Because I'm making time for me and what I'm doing, and it really don't concern anybody else.
Right.
Right? But with technology and the way things are, everybody thinks that they're a part of everything because they see it all. But you really don't see it all.
See nothing.
And where we were going with that is, you know, Dad's death, you know, took a toll on all of us mentally, you know, and then I started getting in with the wrong crowd and hanging out and just making the wrong choices. But the whole time I knew I was making the wrong choices. And this is the part where me and you go a little differently with how we went through it. Thoughts on sobriety and healing and all of this stuff, depression. Like, I don't use any of these negative words because I don't allow them into my brain. I don't want to be seen like that because that's a form of weakness in my eyes. And I wasn't raised to be weak or to be walked on or to be pushed around.
Right.
So for me, I got to stay strong, you know? I got to act. But I've never been in a fight in my life, believe it or not.
Right.
I never had to swing these things because I do believe that I could hurt somebody, you know, and I don't want to do that. You don't want to put yourself in situations where your life could change. I don't think you thought about that at certain times. You just did things, and it totally shocked me, you know, and it comes to a point where you're in this state of mind and depression and sadness and grief, and you don't know how to deal with it. You can't get it out or express it. So you find the avenues to get out of it through other substances, you know? But I think it's how we use that process in coming out of it. Because I know I just made the decision. New Year's Day, 2012, I said, I'm never going to do a Percocet again. I don't want any of that. I seen what it's done to everybody around me, what it's continuing to do to people around me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't be doing that because they need a better example. And this is what I say. And I've been saying it for a long time. We need to be the example. There's not many people in today's society that are role models worth following, that are doing something good that you want to be exemplified for.
Right.
It's drugs, it's girls, gambling. There's many other distractions in life. And when we kind of learn that life is all about distractions and deceptions and lies, you start to see it all.
Yeah.
You know, but when you need to see it all, sometimes it can be too much. And I think that's where we were going with all this, Joe.
Definitely too much for me sometimes.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that when it is too much, guys, you got to go inside. You got to start talking a little bit more to yourself. And I think that's an important thing here with mental health. Because
Yes.
people do talk to themselves, but in a negative state of mind.
Right.
And I think that we can all sympathize with what the struggles that people are going through are. Because all around us, 360, take a look around, there's one or two of them in everyone's life. Okay? But how are we dealing with it? How are we talking to ourselves positively to push this thing forward? Now, I say thing because some people don't understand what exactly I'm talking about.
Right.
But you're creating your reality, Joe.
Facts.
All right? I believe that the world we live, I don't like to use these simulations and matrices. Okay? Because you're hearing it and it's buzzing around out there right now like crazy. Guys, we're creating the reality we live. The things around us, we're not going to change. You got no control over it. You control when you wake up and what you're thinking, how you're taking in your day and what you want to do. Put your energy into all of that and say, I'm going to make it better. There ain't a day I get up and say, I'm going to try to do something better. There ain't a day. And I think that's the conversation you need to say with yourself. Because if I woke up and said, man, I'm hungover and I feel like shit and I can't even move, where are you going to be going in life?
Not far.
Okay, but if I woke up and said, man, I got to get something done and just make a small achievement. I think people put the pressure on themselves way too much to do too much too soon. I think I've been a form of that the last few years. I can say that I think I was trying a little too much to do too much when all what it took was me to be myself.
That's it.
You know, but it took some time to find that. You know, I got a lot of people out there right now be like, oh, man, you've been switching jobs. You haven't held anything down in a couple years. You're like on your 7th thing.
It's amazing.
And I'm like, yeah, I get to choose what I want to do with my life and make choices in the blink of an eye to say, man, I'm going to walk away from a UPS 6-figure salary job and go on a food truck because that's what I wanted to do at that time.
Right.
And I think because I've personally had an awakening to what I knew that I wanted and how I wanted to go about life and how I wanted to share my life experiences with people, that did not involve children and growing my family existence. I chose that. Not many people do choose that. I choose to see what all these are: schools, education, a house, children. They're all little prisons. And this is just the truth of the matter, is that how you going to handle it. Because now you got more responsibility. So you think, right? Because you got to get the bills paid. You got to make money. You got to put food on the table for others now. That responsibility is a lot. And I hope people understand what it comes with now in a society that these kids are so brainwashed and so plugged into something that's scary, that's outside of their control. And when they start doing this digital stuff, it's over with. And I think that's where I never wanted to be. And I foreseen that coming, because I've done my homework since 2001, we'll say. I've been doing my research, finding myself. Spend 20 years finding yourself. And I think this is where we're getting at. Check it out. Anyone who you went to high school with who had a kid, they've been alive for 15, 20 years now. They themselves have formulated their opinion, and they themselves have seen themselves that if they weren't brainwashed by everything around them and believed in what they're seeing and feeling with themselves in their heart and their inner soul, they now know. And we don't know, but we do know. And that is why I continue to say this, because others are awakening. Other people are coming in tune with themselves. And I think this is an important journey we're on. And I think this is an important thing that me and you can bring to others who are going through this struggle, this journey, this process, this awakening. Call it whatever you want, because they're words. And words are different for different people. And that's all it is.
Words are made up.
I have love. I have strength. I have hope. I have gratitude, thankfulness. All of this spews out of me daily. It radiates like sun to a sunflower.
Boom.
I'm hogging the mic too much.
It's cool.
Because
love it.
I want to hear, and others need to hear a little bit about you. So I'm going to throw something at you.
Yeah, give me something.
In your dark times, when it was tough to find a reason to do or be better, what were you going through at that time, mentally? Because as a big brother, I know that I never gave you the time to talk about those dark things. We were always there for good things. But when it came to real stuff, I know that I never asked you if you were okay or how you were doing. I know that. And for me, I kind of feel...
I don't even know if I would have knew to speak on it, even if somebody did. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I just don't. I really don't. I told you, like, dying, what was going on in my head. I felt so uncomfortable. I just didn't know. It's literally stopped me from doing living because, like, no matter what it was, whether it was, like, whatever, like, relationships with girls, because you feel like maybe you're not, like, shit fucks you up mentally, you just don't know. And then once I found the drugs and then my brain stopped thinking, I was always on that influence, so I was never really, I was just here existing, that's all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, it was really, I don't really know how to answer that for you. That all I know is I was very dark, and not that, like, I didn't want to be here, but, I knew that wasn't the answer because, like, how I was raised, like, and I remember acting out all the time. Like, when I would get in trouble, I would be like, I'm going to jump in front of the train.
All the time.
And then, like, that would get me from being in trouble because they would feel bad. Like, so, like, I was manipulating, doing things very young. I didn't even know that's what it was.
Wow.
Like, like, I would do something, and then, like, I would say something, and then they would feel bad, and then I wouldn't get in trouble. Then they did. You said something. He brought me to counseling once, and, like, the dude had me, like, with a hacky sack playing basketball in the barrel or something. I'm like, I'm not going back there. It made me just want to.
Well, because you saw it for what it was. You weren't.
What I really needed to do was talk to freaking dad and my loved ones and them give me the love and healing that I would have needed at the time, but I didn't know that. So I found it in drugs and the wrong people, and I just did bad behaviors because that's what made me feel okay. Doing wrong made me feel like I was doing right, we'll say. Jelly Roll says in one of his songs something like that. And like, when I heard that, I'm like, oh, wow. That's how I felt my whole life. If I was doing wrong, I felt right, even though I knew it wasn't right. Because I didn't feel right in here.
Right.
See? So it just makes
sense.
Just made me turn to doing the wrong thing. So now, as you spoke on the spiritual journey, in my life today, in the recovery, like, it's all light, even though I choose to surround myself in darkness. But the only reason why I'm able to, even though every day is still learning and I'm,
every day, for everybody.
But it don't trigger me like it used to.
Right.
It just helps me become better to help them, But it's like.
Now, in case you didn't hear that, folks, my man's in the recovery field now, helping others after he just shared a few things that he was just going through before that. Think of where you got to be and what you got to go through to do that. It takes a lot.
Right. Yeah. A very lot. And I still do it daily because I have to. It's my routine. It's my life. And if I don't, I'll go back to the old me and I don't want to. So I choose to do something different, right?
Power of choice.
Right. But it's like, it was like my healing journey all started within. I had to, and I found the reason why I turned to drugs and alcohol in jail in like 2014. She said, go back to your cell and figure out why you do what you do. And it was like that incident popped. And I'm like, oh shit, that's what made me turn to all this shit. And like, that's what caused my life to fucking suck.
Yeah.
But then that's a long time ago, 2014, right? So like, I still went out and did bad things through that. But that's just, I guess, I had to go through that to be who I am today, to be able to make a change, right? Because today I choose to be the change. I choose to be the light, and I choose to heal whatever broke me. And like, I healed from that situation. Like I did. I know I did. But I still have healing because of all the chaotic and chaos I caused throughout my life. Like,
it's that karma.
Right? But like from a very young age, I started robbing and stealing from mom and dad, young. Yeah. The only people that have always been there for me, right? And then it's just
out of my wallet.
Anybody else. You? Right. And like these are all things like I had to like, that just dug my hole deeper and I just hated myself more for it because like I'm doing this to my loved ones that were like, what? You know what I mean? But like, that's where it took me.
Well, listen, I think about that and I look back and I say, man, I knew what you were doing and I just always loved you for who you were. Right. That's never changed, no matter how your head was down on your knees every time I walked through the house coming home from work or anything like that.
Right.
Because you were my brother. But then I also, say, man, you never really spoke up or got deeper into that with him. And maybe I look back at all that and I say, man, the things that I could have been better at, And then I say, go deeper. And I'm like, man, could we ever have had this conversation with Dad? What would he have done? Because he would have probably just went right over there and took care of business, honestly.
Well, you don't know.
And because...
You don't know.
And if you could get that out, then, all those what ifs or...
So, that's the thing. I couldn't, and I didn't ever speak to Dad about it. So that's why I built the connection with him, and I did. And I got to. Like, it sounds crazy, but literally, he came. His presence was there, and we were having the conversation, and, because, like, energy, right? Yep. And, like, I fucking seeked for him, and he came, and I got to have everything I ever needed to say to him, I got to say to him, and he was there to listen, and he comforted me, rocked me, and I healed from that moment. But I still gotta fucking live in this life and get through daily life, and it's fucking hard. So, like, he was my rock. So he still is my rock, and he's not here. So that's why I choose to be who I am today, because the world is dark. There's not enough love, so I'm the love. I am the love. I am the light that the world needs. Not just you, not just me, not just you, the whole fucking world. I choose to be what the world needs. But I still have work to do. But every day I wake up, I choose to wake up to go to the river, write in my journal, talk to Dad and God, and then my day's great. I go to work, I help others, which is helping me, and I get to go home and do whatever I get to do on my free time, and then I go to bed and I get to do it all over again. But it's not Groundhog Day for me anymore. It's not just the same fucking thing over and over. I'm not a slave to this world no more because I'm doing my purpose. I am actually working and living what I love to do, I guess.
I think people...
Because...
Boom. Mark that.
What is it? Because I don't want anybody to ever feel the way I felt my whole life. That's why I choose to be the way I am today, because that's a fucking shitty feeling. And if I could be the reason why someone smiles and is like, wow, there's actually kind people out there, and like they don't go blow their brains out, and I don't know about it.
Yeah.
For me, showing an act of kindness, I know that can save somebody's life.
Absolutely.
Because somebody's done it to me, and it helped me. So it's like, then there was people at times that showed me love when I couldn't even have love for myself, you know? And like, there was times where I felt like, and like, this is just reality. Like, sometimes I felt like even loved ones gave up on me. Wasn't showing me the love that I felt I should have been getting. But then like, that was also kind of selfish, I guess, because I was also doing horrible things. So like, why would people want to be around somebody doing things like that? So I get that. But if I did speak up on things but I didn't know, I would have been able to get, they might have been able to help me in ways that at the time. But regardless of the point, I don't give a fuck about that. Because where I'm at today is exactly where I need to be today. And everything I went through, I needed to get through to be able who I am today in order to make a change. Absolutely. Like you said, people awakening. Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah. and folks, take a second and gather yourself there, because that was a lot.
I hope I was close to this.
That sounded perfect.
Okay.
Sounded much better.
All right.
And it moves me deeply, and it's so powerful. It's so personal, but it's just like your story. It's just like what you're going through. It's no different.
No different. Nope.
You got to get strength. You got to find hope. You got to find yourself. Before anything's going to get better, you have to be one with who you are.
Choose yourself. Yeah.
Understand the understanding of what that all means. It takes a long time. It took me many, many, many years to fully grow. And I'm still continuing to grow, but I'm still continuing to preach on growth. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No such thing.
It's impossible. But you strive for perfection. You believe that? No one's perfect. You can't be perfect, but we strive for perfection. And I think that's the human side of us. That when technology is to the side and anger and division is no longer there, it's right there in front of you. It's that easy to see it. But guys, we're got distractions thrown at us every second of the day, whether it's work-related, business-related, school-related, deadlines, time crunches. My whole calendar's full this week. Every excuse you want to start throwing at is just an excuse.
Ooh,
These things were put there to better you. You got to make sure that the situation you're in and the things that are coming your way are the stuff you want to be dealing with. Time and energy cannot be wasted. That's one thing I'm learning. My time and energy is strong and valuable.
Very.
And if you start throwing that out there and nobody's receiving it, it's a waste. It's a waste of time. You got to surround yourself with like-minded people. You know what's funny?
Yes.
B, is that we kind of been in the similar circles for about the last 4 years. I don't think I've known you for more than 4 years. Just about.
My God.
But the circle has kind of remained the same the whole time, but everyone's going around that circle in their own pace. You understand what I'm saying? This whole vibe and this whole energy that's going that way towards whatever's out there would not have been the same 4 years ago. The quality, the passion, the drive, the build, the struggle, the strength in building it all. We all had to take big steps to get to where we were. But I can rewind back and say, you've been on the same shit and grind and saying the same stuff and staying true and doing it and doing it and doing it. And here we are. You know what I'm saying? And that's testament to you. Everyone in the circle, the hybrid theory, Big Joe B, Fee, Ruby, like everybody in this circle. You know, it's pretty big. It's like if you keep talking and going, like it's not going to stop. It's there. It's naturally there. We're not tapping into it correctly. And I think that's kind of what we learned through the process is that you're not ready to tap into the things until you're ready. And I think now I'm ready. 2025, 26, it's going to be crazy. 26, 27, 28, 29, it's going to get crazy. 2030, people, I'm going to tell you right now. 2030, be ready.
2030.
Yeah.
All right.
It's this slow plan, Joe. I'm telling you right now, we got to be making the choices that we want that are best for ourselves right now. These next 4 or 5 years are going to make or break the average human being because they're going to be forced into situations. They're going to be forced into situations that they're going to have to make and choose.
Right.
We as a people need to understand the weight and really listen to what's being asked of us to surrender. I've been saying liberty over security for many years. Remember that shirt I had? It was gold. It said liberty over security. This was back in 2012. Your man Jumptown was tapping into this already. Okay? Because they force you into stuff. I called this one thing forced debt creation. Okay? I was saying that, and people are looking at me like, "Yo, you didn't go to college. What the hell are you talking about?" I said it's pretty simple. They force you and create debt for you to go in, so you never come out. So go get that expensive car that you can't afford.
Go to college.
Go to college. And never do anything with your degree. You know, go and buy a house. Get the mortgage, the rates. Go invest. Listen, I'm not saying the American dream that was pitched to our grandparents is no longer here. It doesn't exist, okay? Because our grandparents were told, hey, you can have a house, have a little bit of land, you'll be good. And they fucking ate that shit because they were starving, coming out of war, looking to survive, looking to grow, looking to settle down. So it was easy to pitch that to the people then, okay? But now we're building on top of buildings and people. There's nothing. There's no American dream. Everything's bought out. It's reclaimed debt. You want to be getting into something, you got to really know what the hell you're doing. And listen, I'm going to say right now, anyone who's investing in the Bitcoin or any non-existent currency that isn't the American dollar bill, I hope you know what the fuck you're saying that you're actually doing, because you're going to be the first ones that are going to be pressed in chokehold into holding any of your money, because you're going to have to go along with whatever they say.
They already are.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's a bad decision. I'm not saying it's your money. Do what you want, because that's America.
Man.
But wake up and live and understand the America you're in, because I'm going to take my check and my money goes to my very little debt that's under $5,000. And it goes locally to my people, to my restaurants, to my communities. It gets reinvested back. Cash money.
Ooh.
I hate paying with cards.
Facts.
Okay? I hate tapping my phone. I hate using my watch and tapping to pay. Guys.
You don't do that.
No, but millions do. And that's called digital ID. And I want us to know that we're already accustomed and comfortable to it. So when they push that on your kid in 10 years or in 5 years in 2030, everybody's going to be cool with it. But you can't. That's how comfortable they are right now. We got to
fuck being comfortable.
Get out of that mindset that that's not where we want to be. That's not the prison we want to live in. They're already holding that was my hand over
No,
here.
it's a cat meowing. Hello.
They're already collected all this data. I'm not no tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist here. Okay? Patriot Act allowed for it to happen, and they've been doing it ever since. Your Google, your camera on your phone. This is the worst thing that's happened to America is this phone. Because it's allowed everybody to get comfortable, to put their guard down, to see a non-existing world through their eyes, which then in return they think they're living in.
Right.
And no longer are thinking of living for themselves. Woo! And that is exactly the point. The awakening must happen, folks. Don't get me wrong. We need people in here to make technology. Robots might be good for society when used correctly. Okay? No. Listen.
What
do you mean, no?
opinion. No?
It is.
That's what I meant.
I want to hear it back. Why do you think that?
You keep going. Because why do we need that? We got perfectly good humans that can do that. Right.
Do you believe that they can do that?
No. Exactly. I believe it's just people being lazy and weak-minded, but just I don't even want to get into this because it irks my soul.
Well, that's part of the.
That's cool.
It's part of the process here.
Right.
That's the question. That's the tipping point. That's where we're gonna be. This is where we are. This is how it's been leading up till now.
No, but it's problems that us humans were meant to just keep going and evolving and learning and learn and learn, and everybody just chooses not to learn shit.
Agreed.
So why would you want to bring robots to do it? So things could get done?
We got to ask ourselves those questions right now.
Right.
That's a legitimate question. There's nothing wrong with that opinion at all.
Right.
You know, I don't want robots taking over, but robots are coming in. They're going to be doing things.
But even just the self-checkout.
Yeah.
Right? You just took from people's jobs cashiers. So that's not even a robot. But that's the start of the robot bullshit. Yeah. Already taken from people's jobs. Well, which makes people go crazy. And that's why the world sucks.
I think tapping in, this is like a little side turn off of this a little bit.
Probably.
But guys, your local union, your local plumber, electrician, fabricator, they're the ones that are going to be rolling in some dough in the next few years. Because people are going to be going to them to be making these things.
Right.
Okay? So it's giving jobs to certain people, but cutting out a certain class of other jobs that's the majority of like a middle class. Okay? Because I feel that collectively we can make that choice and that we still can turn around from this laziness to something constructive. And I really feel like there's higher power technology and advancements that we don't yet know about.
Yeah, because we have yet to tap into our own power and create them.
Agree. I agree with that.
That's the problem. We don't know our true power and what we can do. Just like everybody that created something, right? Everybody in the world lives off it, right? So if every human created something that was useful, they would be all set. They wouldn't struggle because it would be useful and people would be buying it. But they don't want that because then they can't make their money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all just slavery still. If you're getting a paycheck, you're a slave. And it sucks, but that's what it is. My opinion.
Yeah. So what's the way around this? You know, if we are, how do we all
do what you love
and get paid?
Yeah. Unfortunately, unless you got it and you can do your own business and not live stress free. You can own a business and live stress free. Go for it.
No, that don't happen.
Okay. So why would you do something that just causes worry, stress, and makes you go crazy and not live a happy life?
Exactly.
Why would you put too much on your plate?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, oh, my calendar's full. Well, why is that? Oh, because you chose to make it full. Why don't you
simplify?
Why don't you make some time for you, some self-care time, and get right with self. live in the moment.
Yep.
You know?
Guys, not getting too caught up. We're getting really caught up. I love hearing your passion because you can really feel it. Once you get passionate, you can feel it. Good or bad, you can feel it.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
It's that
guys,
energy.
You know, this is the Jumpboys Podcast. We want to do this at least once a month right now. It's kind of a 30-day check-in. It's kind of a little therapy session, seeing how everybody's doing, how we're all handling things.
Right.
How's the last 30 days been treating us?
You want to read that thing, though, before we end, right?
Oh, my guy. That's why you're here.
Right.
That's why you're the co-host, because you got to put the host in check.
Right.
Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
Well, it sounds like you wanted to do it, so you could read it if you want.
I want to read it.
All right.
So my brother sends these messages every morning to me. And this one really hit. And I think it hit today because it was meant for what we were doing today. So we're going to end today's show with a little message from my brother this morning that said, even in the middle of the chaos, your mind has power and purpose. Remember, your story is more than your struggles. It's about the courage to hope, heal, and grow. Reaching out, keep talking, and know your light matters. Even on the hardest days, you are never alone on this path.
Ooh.
And that was sent this morning. And if that don't encompass what we just talked about here today, I don't know what does, guys. It's your man Adam Jump Town alongside the human Sunflower.
Ooh.
Joey Jump. Shout out to 603 Beat Collective.
603.
Studio time. We don't know what we do until next time. Keep that quality high. Yeah.